Hello and welcome to the final chapter of the United States. No, of the swinging and a missing.
A swinging and a missing.
Of April kind of movies that didn't.
Big whiffs.
Yeah, big whiffs.
Big whiffs. Casey at bat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Jason Oliver.
I'm Chuck Moore.
And this week, we're talking about The Postman from 1997.
Yeah.
Let me just ask you, do you guys think that this is the deserved winner of worst movie at the
Razzies? Did it win the Razzie for worst
it at least won worst actor and worst director or something like that?
What was it up against?
I don't know, but 97, I think there were some worse movies. Like, there was probably a shitty Chris Farley movie out that year, right?
Wait, did Will Patton win worst actor, or did Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner did.
Wow. That seems like a little bit of a stretch.
I have a feeling this movie got piled on kind of unfairly.
And I don't like, just to be perfectly honest, I don't know what my thing is against Kevin Costner, but I've never really liked him.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll start there.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. I just want to know what it was up against first.
Okay.
Because I feel like if anybody's listening to this, they'll be like, well, what was it up against too? And they can look it up, sure, but oh wow. Wow, these are all very, very bad movies. Speed 2, Cruise Control.
That is one of the worst fucking movies I've ever paid to see.
It's bad.
It's bad. That is a fuckload of a bad movie.
You paid to see that?
Fire Down Below with Steven Seagal.
She's got the fire down below. Not the Bob Seger song? Sorry.
For years. That was a movie that Mike and I had like midnight movie theater once, and he forever called it Fire Blown Away.
Mike gets lots of name drops on this podcast.
We had Anaconda, which that's just a bad fun movie.
Right.
Like that movie is fun as fuck.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
They got snakes out here this big.
Snakes don't kill people. Oh, they don't.
Yeah.
They got snakes out here this big.
You guys just covered it.
Yep.
That's the movie. And Batman and Robin.
That is another one of the fucking worst movies I've ever paid to see.
Holy rusted metal, Batman.
So I definitely have a problem with this movie, The Postman, being the worst movie over winning the worst movie award over those options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, this movie kind of got piled on. It was not very well received. But I don't think it's really that bad.
Here's the problem. And this is why I think it did get piled on. And this is why I think that it won, is because it was so desperately trying to be something poignant, something insightful and thoughtful and patriotic. You know, it was going for all these big things and these really grand, emotional, sweeping moments. And it all just kind of it didn't always fail, but it never really reached the height it was trying to get to.
I mean, that's fair.
And so that can kind of start coming off as laughable in a way that is sort of a little more grating than a Anaconda or a Batman and Robin.
Man, I'm going to tell you one thing. When I saw Batman and Robin, opening day, very first showing of it, my dear friend Andy and I went. And we sat there, and it's like, we didn't read any reviews. It's like, oh, it's just another Batman movie. If we're lucky, it's at least within a percentage of Batman Forever, which I actually like Batman Forever. I think there's some very quality things. I think Val Kilmer in particular was very good in that.
Sure. He was a good Bruce Wayne.
Yes, he was. So we sat there, and we watched it, and like 45 times in the movie, my friend Andy said, Jack Nicholson's going to pop out as a surprise reveal that the Joker didn't die, right? And he asked that like all the way through the movie. And I'm like, God, I hope, man.
Something's got to
happen. And we sat there as the Smashing Pumpkins song was playing during the credits at the end, and you could hear a pin drop in that theater. Nobody was happy with that movie.
Right. Was that Clooney?
Yes.
And who was the director of that one?
Joel Schumacher.
Schumacher, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He did Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, and he totally misunderstands what Batman is. Like
Right.
he admits that today.
Well,
Right.
and he was definitely going for more of a camp with it, and it didn't work.
He was trying to revive the Tim Burton style, but he sucked at
No.
it.
No, he was trying to revive the 60s version.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But with Tim Burton stylings in it, because Tim Burton still was a producer.
And there still needed to be continuity.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also, and I do give him a little bit of a pass now 23 years later, that he did not have time to develop the movie he really wanted, which what we got was bad enough. I would hate to see what he really wanted.
So there's a Snyder cut for this somewhere.
No, he was pushed because they started making toys before the movie.
Yeah.
So he was
It
basically
pigeonholed
being
him a little bit.
They
Okay.
Mattel or Hasbro or whoever brought him toys, and it's like, this has to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Contractually, he was stuck with some of that stuff.
I mean,
So-
I love the Batman character, and I've completely erased these movies from my like,
But
head.
again,
I don't know.
that movie is just it's bad right out of the gate.
right.
Right? I mean, this
Instantaneously,
this
that's a bad
movie,
movie.
The Postman, was trying desperately to be this sweeping epic, and man, it is just. It's not. I wouldn't say it's a terrible movie, but it's not good.
It did not deliver.
No.
Hey, kids.
Did not deliver. Put that on the tweet.
Put that on the
Does
on
the Postman
tombstone.
deliver? Jason, Jeff, and Chuck discuss.
I guarantee you there has to be a headline.
I guarantee
arc
you, you're
author.
right.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So
especially in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
my God.
Oh, Rex Reed or
Yeah.
Gene Shalit, definitely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Duncan Shepherd. Yeah, that he's a little lesser known, but he's the worst.
So let me give a little bit of okay. So I really like Kevin Costner. I think there's something interesting about the way he approaches some of his movies, because like, okay, in the 80s he was just kind of action thriller man, you know, like he did No Way Out, he did Desperado, he was what was the other, there was another one in the 80s.
No, you're thinking of Silverado.
Silverado. That's what
That's
sorry.
a great movie.
There was another one though in there. Yeah, I always say Desperado when I'm thinking Silverado. Sorry. But the
Silverado.
and that's what I sing when I hear the song Silverado. I mean Desperado.
Yeah.
No, so the but like
Untouchables.
the Untouchable. That was
Yeah,
the one
that's what
that
I was trying to think of.
That's the one that kind of basically launched him into he's like a real deal star.
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
huge hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really always loved Dances with Wolves. There's a lot to that movie that I really like. I love the way it's shot, the way it looks, and if anybody's been reading the every other week of the 00 Saturdays, you know I love John Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is my favorite composer. So, I mean, there's something that's very easily that you can very easily get swept up in. Like, I can't remember what, like, if it was like, I think it was Christmas Eve or Christmas Day or something. I was over at my mom's, and one of the stations on cable was playing Dances with Wolves, and I just sat there and watched the rest of it. You know, it's like it was like probably 2.5 hours remaining of that movie. I
Right.
watched the rest of it.
That's like a clicker stopper for you.
For me, yeah, because it's just it looks. That is a love letter to a version of America that died very quickly. Basically once we moved west, that the plains were forever changed.
Right.
And that is a poignant movie. It's very understated, but it's poignant.
Agreed. I mean, I feel like there was a trying to recapture the magic of Dances with Wolves with the Postman.
In a way, yes, because it is kind of that. It's the same idea. The Postman. See, Costner only directed 3 movies: Dances with Wolves, The Postman, and Open Range.
Yeah.
And all 3 of them are westerns.
Mm-hmm.
With this one being a post-apocalyptic western,
Right.
Which is a weird thing, but it's like, okay, I kind of dig that idea. I think the idea is here. You know, I think there's a lot that you can do with this idea.
Sure.
I'm able to forgive a lot of the hokiness of the Postman just because of there is at least an earnest attempt to make to make a Western. I mean, I think Kevin Costner likes the idea of making old style movies. Like, even some of his other movies like Wyatt Earp that he didn't direct is kind of an old style Western. I think he typically has what's the word I'm looking for? The line between good and bad in his movies are pretty well delineated.
Sure.
Which I think is, I don't know. There's something charming about that idea.
I can see that.
Yeah. So, now this movie is hokey.
It's so hokey.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be.
It doesn't. I don't understand how it happened. Like how it got so hokey. Maybe did he think at some point that maybe I'm coming off whole thing is coming off too serious.
Right.
And it will play the other way, and people just won't buy it or they won't enjoy it. Right. So you have to put in, him going cross-eyed when he gets bonked on the head.
Right.
Stuff like that, which is like Looney Tune shit.
That was particularly bad.
Yeah.
But it also made me laugh. So, but I wonder how much of this, I've never read the book, how much of his character was goofy in the original
From
story.
my understanding, that it's not even really close at all.
Right.
To the book.
Yeah. So, yeah. Now, it's kind of interesting because Kevin Costner gets into the mid 90s and he starts having some failures. Like Dances with Wolves was big. JFK was pretty big.
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was massive.
Wasn't The Bodyguard somewhere?
The Bodyguard was huge. That was 92.
Yeah. Now,
It started to go south in 93 with The Perfect World.
Which that's a really good movie.
I think it was well received critically, but it wasn't really a hit. That was a Clint Eastwood movie.
But that I remember seeing that movie in the theater.
I don't really recall that one very well.
He's the guy who kidnaps the kid after he breaks out from jail, and Clint Eastwood's the marshal that has to track him down. So he played a bad guy.
That'd be one I'd probably revisit sometime.
Yeah, that's a pretty good movie.
It made money. It made a lot of money. So
I thought it did.
Made $135 million on $30 million. So all right, I don't know.
Tin Cup, I think, was a moderate hit for a comedy, but even that movie, it's like it's an over 2 hour long comedy.
Well, Tin Cup came after Wyatt Earp and Waterworld,
right? And
Wyatt and The War. Maybe The War is the one I'm thinking of with Elijah Wood.
Although I don't know, man. That's like a smaller movie. I don't know if it was.
Yeah, I don't know.
But anyway, no. Like Wyatt Earp was probably one of those movies. It's like like between Wyatt Earp and Tombstone coming out so close to one another. Yeah. Wyatt Earp was over 3 hours or near 3 hours.
I think that's why I resented Costner. It's like he saw The Last of the Mohicans, and he thought, I have to make long, epic movies, but they were so filled with stuff that is unnecessary. That made your butt hurt while you were in the theater.
I don't know. I can't really remember Wyatt Earp, but again, I remembered liking that when I last saw it. I had the same recollection of Postman, so right. I don't really know if Wyatt Earp holds up or not.
I dismiss Wyatt Earp because I'm a huge Tombstone fan. There can't be both.
But what's great about Wyatt Earp, from I remember, because I remember loving Tombstone, but also really enjoying Wyatt Earp because Wyatt Earp kind of got into a lot more of his earlier days.
Yeah, it explored a lot more.
It's a longer, it's more of a biopic of him rather than just telling the story of Tombstone.
Right.
Now, here's kind of a funny story, too. I actually used to really like longer movies.
Oh, you've talked about this before.
Yes. Yeah. I feel as though longer movies meant that they were more prestigious because because we grew up in the 80s, right? And in the 80s, there were 90-minute horror movies.
It was an hour and a half and 2 hours.
And 100-minute comedies.
Yep.
Yeah. And then James Bond movies were 210 and everything longer were Oscar movies.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like literally.
Yeah.
And now we live in a time where you know, and probably around the time that the first Harry Potter and the first Lord of the Rings came out, and it's like now movies have to be 2 hours and 45 minutes.
And again, I think that's part of why this movie won worst movie of the year and why it was so panned is because it was trying to be an Oscar movie.
Sure.
Like 100%.
Yeah, sure.
Kevin Costner thought he was making a movie that could get nominated for Best Picture.
Sure. Like, you know, he had gone on, you know, it's like the very first movie I ever directed, I got handed 2 awards for it.
Right.
And, you know, JFK was nominated.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I mean, I'm sure there was a little bit of hubris there.
Sure.
Yeah, this one feels like a 2 hour and 15-minute movie. And actually, I might have liked it a lot better because it felt like he was putting stuff in there to make it longer.
Yeah.
Like
I wonder-
leaving stuff in there because it wasn't long enough for him to feel
Sure.
comfortable.
I think there's a cut of this movie, and with just a couple reshoots, honestly, no, you could recut this movie as a 2 hour, 15-minute movie, and it would be much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas I would say that Open Range doesn't need that. I think he went back to making a movie more like Dances with Wolves, where it's like, we're going to let it breathe, but it's fine that it breathes at 3 hours or whatever.
Well, it wasn't. It was 2 hours, 20 minutes.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I thought it was closer.
It was
to 3.
139 minutes.
Okay.
Open Range.
But still, I'm sure that movie technically wouldn't have to be that long.
I mean
but-
that movie made money too. It tripled its budget.
Yeah, but it was
I mean,
probably
this
made
dude
a
always
lot
makes
less.
money,
No,
right?
it said, 22 million. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it tripled its budget.
Yeah.
It made money.
Costner put
The
butts in
Postman
seats
did
just
not
by
make
being
money. The
Costner.
Postman was a colossal failure.
Well, it's
What
an
did it
expensive
make?
movie.
It made like 20 million on 80.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a huge bomb.
Wow.
Yeah, and
And a 3 hour runtime doesn't help that.
Were people sick of him at that point? Well,
no, I don't think so.
Word of mouth got out on this thing early.
I think the critics
Yeah.
sunk this one.
Yeah, and
Which is probably what you could say about Waterworld too.
Right.
So you take a take a 3 hour runtime without anyone telling you have to see this movie, and no one's going to see that movie.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, because now going back to the runtime thing that we were talking about, it's like for a long time we always heard why movies were like cookie cutter 90, 100, 105 minutes was for more showings.
Yeah.
Right.
But nowadays there are no small theaters.
Right.
Everything is like, I think when I was working for AMC, I think they said that they refused to build any new theaters that were less than like 16 screens or something like that.
Doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Yeah.
So, so like at that point, you don't have to worry about, run times, and movies got longer, and movies are long. I mean, holy shit. One of my favorite movies of this year so far, The Invisible Man, is over 2 hours long.
Yeah.
Wow.
It is.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's 2 hours, 10 minutes. And it's like, it doesn't feel like it, but 20 years ago, you would never have had a horror movie.
For anything that's not a drama these days, anything that's not a comedy these days, it probably, a little under 2 hours is probably the average.
And I wonder if some of that is we can't pump out an 80-minute or a 90-minute movie and expect people to pay $15 to go see it.
Right.
Well, there's also a couple things. I think that people are more conditioned for a story that takes time to develop now.
Our generation.
Our generation is with the way television is now. And binge watching,
Sure.
people will sit and watch the same story, watch fucking every episode of Stranger Things in one sitting. So,
Which is
so a
strange
good,
because-
compelling, well-told story, if it goes a little over 2 hours, isn't that big a deal anymore.
Well, it's kind of funny because aren't we also the MTV generation that was blamed for the shorter attention span?
Right.
Right.
It's like, did we just get old?
We just consume a lot of media.
Yeah, I guess so. Because the thought of, the thought of going to see a Marvel movie that is less than 2 hours and 20 minutes seems preposterous to me right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, how do you tell your story if you don't,
Yeah.
but then again, it's not like they fail too often. If they wanted to give me an 80-minute movie, I'm sure it's probably fine.
2 hour movie or 2 hour and 20-minute movies are part of the reason I don't like to go to the theater, though.
Sure.
Because I got to go to the bathroom twice.
Right.
I have
Totally agree.
I love being at home and watching a movie because I can pause it when I need to, and I know that takes away from the experience, but at least I'm not missing anything because I have to go to the bathroom.
Well, I didn't.
But like Avengers, like there was an article out. I know we might be dragging on here on this topic, but there was an article telling you...
There's not much of a plot to talk about here, so keep going.
But yeah, like in Avengers, an article came out saying, here's the moment where you should go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Like that's the kind of world we're in.
Most of those big tentpole long movies do that now. Yeah. I mean, there's a website for it.
Yeah.
It tells
is there?
you. Yeah, there's I forget what it's called, but
whenshouldipee.com probably.
it's something like that. Yeah.
Which is watch out for the spam that you might get.
Right. It's like go to dicks.com.
But it is very much like that. It tells you, it gives you, not only does it tell you the best times to go, but it gives you a little snippet of what happens.
Yeah.
So when you go to the bathroom, you can read what's
I like
happening
that.
while you're in the bathroom.
That's a money making idea right there.
Well, yeah,
Just
somebody did
making
it.
monies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, see, for in-game, you were sitting right there. I did not get up.
No, you didn't.
I did not buy a drink either. I chewed gum.
You chewed gum and you
And
brought
hard
hard
candy.
candies, and you were so pissed off when that thing started because your socks were wet.
Yes, it rained so fucking hard that
Are you
day.
sure you just didn't pee down your leg?
No, we got drenched coming into the theater. Oh my
Storm that
god!
day.
And Jeff was so angry because
I hate that.
because he hates. I mean, wet feet is bad, but
Yeah.
Jeff really hates wet feet.
Yep,
Yeah,
I do.
I mean, he
I
uses
do.
foot powder.
Yeah.
I do. That is true. Like the sensation of any moist.
But you could see it too because
Moistness.
Jeff was so excited for that movie. I don't know if I've ever seen Jeff that excited for a movie in my life. Like,
Right.
it was amazing how excited he was, and then you could start to see like the cracks of his enjoyment.
Yeah.
Because of the
rain.
situation with the rain, and he was.
But you know what?
I know. As soon as that movie started, you were going to be okay. But man, I was worried about you for just a sec. Like, oh shit, man.
That's why,
How's
like,
this
it
going to
worked
go?
out. Flip-flops, because if you do get your feet wet, they dry. You don't have to worry.
Fair
about
enough. I
this.
mean,
I took my socks off.
Yeah. Oh, in the theater?
Yep.
Do you
Yeah,
hang them
they-
over the back? Like,
yeah. Well, we were in the back seat.
Yeah, we were all the way in
back
the back. I took them off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're that guy.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about the Postman.
Well, so here we go. So, all right. So the Postman. Now, like I said, I will forgive some of the hokiness because I think that there's something here to work with. It's just that you're right. It kind of misses the mark.
yeah.
Much like Will Patton's guys can't shoot anything.
Oh my
The
god.
stormtroopers.
The stormtroopers.
They're so
yeah.
bad. So all right. What is the Postman about?
So it's about a post-apocalyptic, post-World War III. It's 2013. Now, I'm assuming the book came out in 1985. I'm assuming that the timeline is relatively similar, right? I mean, why not?
I don't know.
I mean, it's
Maybe.
maybe. Well, I question that because that is something you want to talk about.
What?
Timelines and these kind of near future things. So okay, so
some
anyway.
of the threads of this movie start to really wear on me, and I can't quite get into it because little things don't make sense.
Sure.
And one or two little things that don't make sense is fine, but when they start to add up, it's just like, ugh.
Sure. So, okay, it's 2013. There has been a nuclear war. Some sort of major war broke out. And before most of the people showed up to fight the war, it was over by way of, I assume, nuclear holocaust.
Destruction. Yeah.
Right. And that led to like a 3-year winter. It led to a plague in New York.
It's interesting that
Governments have crumbled.
the Wikipedia, oh shoot, where'd it go? Says that it's 16 years after an unspecified apocalyptic event or events, starting with the breakdown of society through hate crimes and racially motivated attacks by a militia-like group led by Nathan Holm, Holn is how they. is
Oh,
that
okay.
I
spelled?
guess so. I didn't get that.
Progressing to war, followed by plagues that collectively left a huge impact on human civilization and erased most technology.
So Holm started the war that affected the whole
Nathan,
world?
yeah. So he's the one who like put the beginning of a chain of events that resulted in apocalypse.
World.
Now,
apocalypse.
I mean, I don't know if it was necessarily a world apocalypse.
That's true.
Because we don't know anything about. The only thing we know about is that supposedly St. Rose, Oregon, is where everybody wants to go.
God, this was released on Christmas. Ugh. It was really gunning for that Oscar.
Yeah. Well, you put out your 3-hour movies during Christmas time, so you don't have to sit around with your family. I mean, those are the busiest days of the movie
Right.
theaters because
Yeah.
people don't want to sit around with their weird families.
Dude,
It's
I worked
so true.
Titanic on Christmas Day.
That's a Titanic amount of strength you had.
Yeah.
that did not land.
Nope.
That's just kind of like the
That
Postman.
joke sunk.
Oh, Chuck, this is why you're here.
Yes,
Yeah.
save us
Apparently.
from ourselves.
So so basically apocalyptic event. The United States is gone, basically run by warlords, local warlords, I guess would be the best way to put it.
It's the
Well, it's Holmes' militia.
it's the remnants of Holmes' army.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, which is weird because they won the war, but then the apocalypse must have taken out just so much of the population anyway.
That's why I'm
But
confused by that
they're
description.
still the remnants of his followers that still have seized control.
What you would think that
Militarily
you
of
would think that
civilization.
most of those people would say he was fucking wrong.
Well, yeah, he fucked the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's why I feel like that is wrong. I don't know.
You're
That it
wrong,
formed-
Wikipedia.
That Holmes group formed after the destruction
Well-
of America makes way more sense.
Well, he said, Will Patton's character, that he was at the Battle of Georgetown and saw
The White House.
the White
House
House
burned.
burned
That makes
down.
sense.
Like, he was
That makes
fighting
sense.
for
Yeah.
Nathan Hone.
Yeah.
So I think he was the idealist, the ideological force behind keeping those ideas that Nathan Hone
Right.
espoused alive. And they
Yeah.
had the power. They were on the won the war. It might be they might rule at 1% of the population, but they still rule.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, where some people don't want to rule what's left of a scorched earth because, that
And
would be,
his whole thing is he wants to rebuild society under the 8 tenets of Nathan Hone,
Right.
which is this crazy sort of white supremacist, survivalist, survival of
well,
the fittest.
apparently racial taxes.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know how Will Patton didn't know that one guy was mixed race.
Right. His lackey did.
His lackey saw it instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so basically, the Will Patton plays this guy named General Bethlehem, and he basically rides around. This is essentially, if you know anything about The Walking Dead, this is Negan.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
rides from town to town and basically taxes people by taking people
Yeah.
and stuff.
He's rebuilding his army little by little.
Yeah, he takes 3 able, and then he has that. What
What did he
say?
call it? He
It was
said
ethnically
Sound or something. I can't even remember.
it was ethnic foundation.
Yes,
Yeah,
of quality ethnic foundation.
Right, which is
Something-
another
yeah,
way
something
of
like
saying they
Suitable.
should be white.
Suitable ethnic foundation. I did write it down.
Oh,
Okay.
thank you.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can't wait for somebody to find your notebook and turn to that page.
It's right. Well, I did write Postman above it, so hopefully they can connect the dots.
Yeah,
Well, nobody remembers this movie.
they will now.
So basically, Kevin Costner goes from town to town. He's a loner, and now supposedly in the book, his name was Gordon Krantz,
Okay.
and he was a drama student, and before the war and everything. So he just basically goes from town to town and entertains people. He has a mule who will perform Shakespeare with him.
Billy.
Billy the mule.
Bill is my favorite character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was. Two
Bill.
of our favorite. No, my favorite character, my least favorite character. We're only in this movie for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I'm sorry.
So he is in this town that Bethlehem kind of rides into and basically says, we need 3 whiteys and like half your shit or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the tax is.
yeah,
We know the 3 whiteys were part of it because he calls one guy a bad word.
Yes.
Yeah.
He uses the bad word.
And because he is, let's put it this way, he's ethnically right. he is incorrect according to Will Patton.
He just didn't meet his standards.
Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chuck.
You're
Again,
welcome.
that's why you're here.
But
Yeah.
somehow Giovanni Ribisi's character does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he's kind
How
of an
is
inbred
that?
dullard.
I think
Yeah.
he broke in and didn't leave. Like he must have joined the line when
It just
nobody was paying
right.
attention.
He's just there. He's just there. He just hangs around.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody obviously cut his tongue off.
Oh, Ribisi? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's leave that one there. Let's leave
Yes.
that tongue on the floor.
Yes.
So anyway, that's an inside joke. Anyway, so the Kevin Costner is trying to leave town because he doesn't want to join up with
Slinking
these assholes,
away.
and he's
Yeah.
slinking away. And another person who wouldn't be fit, is waving to him, and it's making a big deal. And so somebody sees him trying to get away, so that almost instantly gets him drafted.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he is taken to a camp and is there for some time. It's indeterminate how long this movie takes to be told because
You can
he's
only tell it by Costner's beard.
which
the only
sometimes
time
gets shaved.
passing.
Which
really
which gets shaved and grows again several times.
Right.
Yeah.
And there is one real winter, not the nuclear fallout.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, 2 winners, I think.
Oh, okay, maybe.
I think. I think there was.
Maybe.
I could be wrong in it,
How
but
many
I thought,
beards, though?
Like 6.
Okay.
6 beards.
Okay.
It was a 6 beard movie.
Yeah. Okay.
It ends in a beard off too.
Yeah, it does. A berry bear.
A berry beard off.
Berry Christmas.
A berry beard off.
So he's there at this camp. There's this guy who's the mixed race person that one of the underlings doesn't care much for.
And he had heard. Well, you're probably gonna get to that, but he had seen the performance, and he was kind of infatuated with the Postman. Like he's like, say those
Yeah.
words you said again. And
Exactly.
He's
Like,
totally-
hey,
yeah.
he's a guy who, through, I guess you could say at the beginning, he's kind of going around and just keeping people's spirits up.
right. And he
by
really
way
touches
of
this guy somehow with one of the
exactly
lines. he
because
says.
it's I mean, it was just a fun little show with a mule. I mean, we've all been to those types of shows,
Right.
especially in Mexico.
Not all of us, Jeff.
At least 3 of us here. I've went 3 times.
Oh, I was gonna say.
So,
one. Sorry.
Wow. Oh.
Just keep.
Anyway,
press on,
there we go.
press
Let's
on.
keep going.
You're doing a great job, Jeff.
So he, so here at this camp, he sees the cruelness of this whole thing, and you learn the 8 rules, which are basically
I got him if you want him.
not really, but go ahead.
Yeah, let's go ahead. This
Rule number 1, Jason.
Obey orders without question.
Rule number 2.
Punishment shall be swift.
Number 3.
Mercy is for the weak.
4.
Terror will defeat reason.
I like that one.
That's
that
a
one's
weird one.
that is a good megalomaniac.
It is.
Yes, it
thing.
is.
What was that? 5.
That allegiance to the clan only.
And if you call yourself the
clan, I
clan,
think that's supposed
that's
to-
a that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
that's a trigger.
They're definitely they look upon the Ku
They were
Klux
hiding
Klan
something
with,
under the hood.
with some
You know what I mean?
with some affection there. Yeah.
Chuck is just knocking. We're just. It's like we're pitching underhand to Chuck. Number 6.
Justice can be dictated, which I don't really quite understand what that means. Like,
Well,
I guess that what does
you
that mean
de-
is
you
that
define justice as
right. So
attacking.
justice isn't a universal thing.
No.
Right.
it's
Basically, whoever's got the biggest balls on the court
Is-
at the
it
time
can tell you
meet
what is
justice.
just.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can meet justice. 7.
Anyone can challenge for leadership.
That's important.
That's a
Very
important.
And number 8. What's the only punishment?
The only penalty is death.
one. Yeah.
Well, this is the type of group that kills their own numbers. Those are the bad guys that are destined to fail.
There can't be a lot of morale in a group like this, like positive morale.
Right. I mean, this is
No, there's a lot
this
of
is-
cringeing when the rules are enforced.
I mean,
right.
I have a feeling like at most 90% of this group is being the rule number 4 is being used on them effectively.
Yeah,
terror will
terror.
defeat reason.
Well, no. Well, I mean, I think that's also rule number 2 of 8chan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I mean, so I get it. It works. on some people.
but power is seductive, and they're given a chance to be at the top of the food chain in a pretty cruel world,
And there's a living
or
example.
what could be a pretty cruel world.
There's a living example of someone who challenged Bethlehem once, always standing right next to him.
Right.
So if you get any big ideas, you just look to this,
Yeah.
Stallone guy.
But if you, yeah, he does look like a Stallone. But if you stay in line and you just do what you're told, then you'll be
fed.
fine.
You'll get to watch The Sound of Music whenever you want. Every
That's
night.
a really weird thing.
So weird.
That is so weird. So yeah, at this camp,
There's
they're
something about
constantly
that though
watching-
that I think is actually interesting. But go ahead. Yeah.
Let's talk
well,
about
there's
it.
a Nazi element to that movie.
Well, yeah, but that's not what I'm driving at.
Okay, well, what are you driving at? Because we're basically here where you're seeing life at this camp,
Right. And
where it's basically every night showing.
They
of-
show
They beg
movies.
for-
They show movies from a platform in the middle of a lake on a rock formation, and
which I think it's a real thing.
it looks cool.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a movie there.
Well, yeah.
The movie that they love is The Sound of Music. It's the first movie you see them watching, and they love it.
So much so that they throw rocks at the guy
When
if he doesn't play it.
so the next night that he's playing Universal Soldier with Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude Van Damme, and they hate it.
Yeah, they start.
They're throwing rocks at the projectionist. They're like, they don't want to watch Universal Soldier. And he's like, "This is what you want. This is what you want." He's holding up a film canister and he puts it on. And it's The Sound of Music again, and they're immediately appeased.
Yeah.
And what I think the reason for that is it shows you that they live a life of violence, right?
Oh, so they don't really want to.
So they don't really want to see it. They want something that reminds them of probably who they really want to be, right?
Fair enough.
a lot of them. Yeah,
A lot of them, because I think a lot of them are probably good people that are just
they got
they're
drafted.
captives.
They got
You're-
drafted and assimilated against
Right.
their
Yeah.
own will.
Right.
Except for Ribisi.
Do you guys want to talk about Star Trek First Contact instead? That came out the same year, around the same time.
No.
Oh, okay. Shit. Well, you said assimilated. It's like, well, I'd rather
Oh,
talk about that movie.
yeah.
But anyway, so okay, so basically, Costner's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
We're gonna escape. We need to escape.
We need to
This guy
escape.
paints himself.
Yeah.
With a mirror, like he's a megalomaniac extraordinaire.
Yeah, it's like, this guy's an asshole. I'm out of here. And he even says, I'm not going to fight you. You don't want me in your army. I'm not
not a
cut out-
fighter.
I'm not a fighter.
and not a joiner.
Not a joiner. I'm just the follow. Well,
He says he's a follower later, I think, to appease the one guy who's accusing him of.
right.
Yeah.
So he's like, nah, I'm not the guy you want around. But that only makes Bethlehem want him around. Like, I'm going to break this guy,
He says, I see something within you. Like, yeah.
He
Yeah.
sees him as dangerous,
Right.
And he thinks that he can tap into that and use it,
And hold him under his thumb.
But it's gonna spoiler that his dangerous side is gonna be his downfall.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's the movie.
Yeah.
No,
Cool.
so he takes off, and so there's like this whole thing where you see a lion.
Are we not
early-
going to talk about Giovanni Ribisi at all?
I mean, go for it. I mean, I already call him an inbred moron or whatever.
Oh, I mean, he plays heavily in the scene. He's like probably the
He's
worst I've ever
desperate to
seen
join this.
Ribisi like act. I mean, it was so over the top.
Oh.
So you're saying
bad.
that it's not his turn in from Saving Private Ryan?
No. But anyway, it's really bad. But he actually feels like he's a part of something.
Right. He's desperate to feel like, because he probably comes from a town where he's like just the local yokel.
Right.
You
Right.
know.
He's never been respected
So-
because he's not intelligent.
So
he's
there's
not intelligent. He's probably inbred.
right.
I'm really gonna.
He's probably inbred too.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure. 1,000% sure.
But on their first day of traveling away from camp, they find out that there is a lion
yeah,
on the loose on the other side of a bridge.
which
They
we
think
saw
that
the
they
lion
need
at
to
the
cross.
very, very
Yeah,
beginning
it was
of the
Right.
kicking the can that
Yep.
Costner was kicking. They were
Yeah.
playing kick the can together.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so they ask for a volunteer from these new recruits to go and make sure one of their men is actually dead and not just, still looking for whatever the hell they're trying to do. They're hunting a lion for whatever stupid reason they have. And Ribisi really wants to go over there. He really wants to be the one. He's like, I'll do it. But they're like, no, we're not sending this guy.
No.
Who is this guy? How did he get here?
We know we put him in the front line of a lineup for like a war. We don't send him out to find anybody.
Right. And the next series of events is actually, I think, pretty cool and goes against like how every other movie would do it in a story, where Kevin Costner grabs the body of the dead guy that got attacked by a lion.
Yeah, basically they send out him and they say, hey, Shakespeare, because he knows Shakespeare and so does Will Patton. He's like, hey, Shakespeare, you go get him. Gives him a knife. If you don't come back, we're just going to assume you got eaten by the lion.
Right.
And so he goes off.
And then he finds the body. He's starting to cross the bridge that he had to go over, and he notices a board that will probably break if he steps on it.
Because there's the weight of 2 instead of 1.
The weight of 2. So he sits there and considers it for a minute. Am I going to survive this fall? And then he drops in and starts, stormtrooper badge shooting as he's going down the river. But
well, I will give one real quick aside for the bad shooting in this scene. 2 things are kind of working against
moving
them.
target
And a fast moving target. That's a rapid.
He gets fast later. At the beginning, it's not moving that fast. But
but as he starts to swim, the current takes him. But then too, they're also like way up the top of.
It's a hard shot.
It's a hard shot.
And I think there's even a third thing you could potentially read into it, that they're not really all that motivated to kill him.
No, some of them aren't. Probably
not.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
But anyway, what I thought was cool about this, I guess, they send the big dude who's probably half black,
right?
Mulatto or whatever word you're supposed to say. Sorry, after him. I think those are all okay.
Yeah, I think
mixed race.
Mixed race. That's fine.
Thank you.
That's fine.
They send him after him and say, if you don't come back with him, you and somebody else here die.
Yeah.
Right.
So now it's his life and somebody else's.
Right.
That's on the line, which is that's a motivator.
Yeah.
At that point.
But Ribisi decides to run off after him, and all of a sudden,
and he's running off like grinning and giggling like a fucking idiot.
Oh, yeah.
So any other movie though, I thought all 3 of them would escape together, and that's how the movie would progress.
Yeah.
A lot of stories would kind of tell it that way, like, hey, we got away, let's keep going.
Right.
That reminds me of
that's a
another
good point.
movie from the 90s, Fled.
Oh, I saw that movie.
Stephen Baldwin. Oh,
Yeah.
Everybody saw that movie on VHS.
Oh, yeah.
So Ribisi catches the postman.
Yes.
And it's clear that he's going to stop him. He has to stop him.
Yeah.
He's going to do it.
Because he doesn't like the math of going with, because he says, hey, you don't have to do this. We can leave.
Yeah.
Right.
And Ribisi doesn't like him. He likes the bigger group. He wants to feel like he's a part of something.
Right.
So he starts to yell like he's over here, and Costner has to stab him and shut him up. And Ribisi says what I felt like the first 30 minutes of this movie about Ribisi. He says, how come you wrecked it for me?
Tweet that to Ribisi.
Yeah. I mean,
how come you wrecked it for me?
You even made a comment that 2 characters in that one of the bad guys who's overly
The number 2
obnoxious
guy,
and ridiculous.
he's the guy who says the N-word to the mixed race guy.
Yeah, so they both
James
get eliminated
Russo,
in this scene, and I'll try to tell that part quickly. The other guy, the big dude who's of mixed race, catches up to him, and you can tell he's not fully in.
But what is he going to
wanting
do? He doesn't want to kill somebody
else.
else.
It's you or me. Like, he doesn't want to kill someone else. Eventually, he ends up throwing his knife into
James Russo's arm.
So the postman can run away.
And he charges James Russo.
Yeah,
and
once
James
he does-
Russo
Shoots
unloads
him.
his gun into him. Yeah.
Kills him. So James Russo, after the postman runs away, goes up to some bramble and sees blood all over. He's like, oh, you escaped into here, whatever. And then the lion jumps out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The lion kills him.
So like 3 people, 2 of which were majorly annoying, all die in like 30 seconds.
And to be quite honest, like up until this point of the movie, I was kind of in it. I was kind of like, all right, there's been some goofy things.
Right.
But all right. There's good characters I didn't like. Those characters got killed.
Right.
Hooray. Right? I mean, that's what you should do. If you want to dispatch bad guys, make them just so bad or just so annoying that you're excited when they're out of the picture.
Right.
And and yes, you can have. There are ways to sympathize with a character like Giovanni Ribisi, but he is so dead set in following the bad just to feel like he's a part of something that it is irredeemable in the end. You want him to die,
and
because he's a fucking asshat.
He is asshat, and it's really just the way Ribisi is playing the character just feels gross anyway. It's just like, what choices is he making? Like, why is this character this way? Did you just try and come up with a bunch of weird and stupid and goofy villain shit, like, and make him an idiot and give him bad teeth? And it was so caricature.
Sure.
And I was really just happy the character wasn't gonna stick around.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So at this point, like, okay, Costner's on the run. It's a rainy, cold night, so he needs to find some shelter. He finds a truck. He gets into the truck, and there's a skeleton in there, which it's kind of funny. Yeah, I mean, or not funny, bad, but like, oh, hey,
Yeah.
the truck crashed, and the guy died. And he's in there, and he realizes the guy's got a lighter. He's got there was something else. Booze. He had a flask.
Yeah, he had a flask.
And so he's like, oh, awesome. And he's like kind of reveling in this.
He was excited about the lighter because he was freezing.
He was freezing, but he
cold.
was really excited about the booze. He's like,
oh,
you shouldn't have.
Because that's going to warm him up too. It was weird.
They started burning mail.
That's when you start to find out how weird he is too, though. Because when he gets in there, he looks at the guy and he's like, hey, how are you? Or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Like,
Well, he talks to this horse, like,
right, which is fine. The horse is living.
Right.
Well,
fair.
but this guy has seen some shit.
Yeah.
Well,
But
he
the way
also
he
has
approaches it
that
is
strange
weird,
scene where he's like flipping through the TV guide and pretending he's watching television and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right, and,
So-
and the soundtrack follows that as well.
So he's got a couple screws that aren't gone, but they're a little loose,
Right.
and they could be well on their way to Crazy Town until he develops this wild idea.
Right.
Yeah, so this guy is a mailman, and he's burning the mail for a fire, and he decides, I'm going to take his uniform, I'm going to take his bag, I'm going to have letters, I'm just going to go and see what I can get out of this.
Yeah.
Right.
Basically, I'll at least have places to stay, and I can keep my belly fat.
It's a con for the most part.
Basically,
and he has mail
So he has
that's
something.
addressed to addresses at the place he's going.
Yeah.
So he's figuring, well, maybe I will deliver some actual mail, and
Right.
this will get me, some food and places to sleep. Yeah.
What he doesn't count on, though, is he gets to the place, and and this is where I do find this story to be a little charming, because you have these people who are separated. It's kind of hard to say charming in this kind of world now, but back then, or at least back when the book came out in the 80s, there's no internet, there's no infrastructure like that. But the idea of just knowing that your family is alive when they live in different cities,
Yeah.
Right.
is kind of charming.
Sure,
It's like there's a charming nature to it. And the first person he tries to deliver a piece of mail to at this town, it's like he calls her name and doesn't look like it's gonna be anything. But then
The
she
sheriff's
walks
not
up.
buying him, right?
Well,
He's like,
Right, the sheriff
He gives him 3 chances.
Yeah.
And the first 2 names are not recognized.
Right.
The
And
third
then
one
the third
is.
one is, and it's this little old blind lady, played by Peggy Lipton.
No, Peggy Lipton played, I think, the blind lady's daughter.
No,
No?
it's the other way around. It was the blind lady.
The
Peggy
blind-
Lipton's older,
No, Peggy Lipton.
from the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the younger one of the 2. She was on Twin Peaks at the same time. Yes.
yes.
Really?
Yes. If that's
Look, don't fuck with me on Twin Peaks.
Okay, fair. Whoa.
She was
Whoa, Mr. Bethlehem.
She was the
rule
one-
number 7.
She
bitch.
was the one. She was the one who Peggy Lipton was the one who came out when he was trying to eat, and she gave him the soup, and she was like, "What? You just let the man eat?"
she's the one that read the letter.
She's the one that read the letter. To
I
the
thought
old
it
lady.
was the older lady.
No, that was
when they
Peggy
said
Lipton owned the diner in Twin Peaks, right? I was trying to figure
yes, yes.
Where I knew her
because
from.
I thought
Yeah.
her name
Yeah.
because Peggy Lipton on Wikipedia said it was Helen something, which I thought was the name of the person that he was delivering the mail to.
No, I think that they were related
They probably had the same last name.
Well, they did, but I thought the first
because I
name
think they were
matched.
all like the March family. So Roberta Maxwell, I think, was the old lady. She played Irene March,
Okay.
and
okay.
Peggy Lipton is Ellen March.
Okay.
I mean, Peggy Lipton was born in '46, so she was
40 some.
Yeah.
40.
well, she would have been 50.
51.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
she-
okay, fair enough. Fair
but I
enough.
mean, she didn't look in her late 40s in Twin Peaks.
No, she didn't.
Okay, so all right, so anyway, so she's there, and and they read the letter, and it's from her sister or something, hadn't had communications with him for years.
Right.
So people are starting to, and he basically, his con is like, oh yeah, back out east, we reformed the United States and this is my route, which is fine because, well, I mean, it works out this time.
Well,
right?
Here's the thing about that is you can't just start telling a story like that and not expect a million questions.
Well, sure, but the idea
He didn't
is,
think that part through.
he didn't
Not
think
at
that
all.
No,
I mean,
not
he
even
was
a little.
drunk the night before.
That's true.
So he ends up
He probably would have just done better. Honestly, well, he wouldn't have done better for the world because whatever.
I found this bag. I'm going to start delivering mail.
But it might have been more believable, yeah, if he just told the truth.
Yeah.
It's like,
Fair
I might
enough,
have
but-
some mail that some people here
But then
would
the
wanna
story does not.
read. I know.
Well, but the thing is also, if he just told the truth, why would they let him into town? He gets into town based on authority.
Well, sure, but
So-
we could appeal to humanity with the story about, hey, I have mail here that is addressed to people who live here.
Fair enough.
They
Fair
might
enough.
want to read this mail.
Fair enough, but I mean, if it's just a bunch of junk mail, like if it was like a fucking
I mean,
Wednesday,
The fact,
they were
the
trying
fact,
to
I honestly don't believe, Jeff, that he did get in there on authority. He got in there because he did have a piece of mail that was legitimately
That's
addressed
true.
to somebody.
That's true.
sure,
Right?
Okay.
They were just like, fine, deliver the mail. And then that kind of started the seed of believability.
Okay, fair enough.
And
But
the fact that the mail was something that was very sentimental to
Right.
the lady.
Right.
well, yeah, that
Yeah.
ends up building.
And the
whole-
people were all
saint,
around. It was
no.
very emotional for everyone, really.
Sure,
Because
sure.
it
So-
represented this connection to the world.
the world that used to be.
Yeah.
So basically what that starts is it starts a domino effect, right?
Yeah.
Because now he kind of has to live this lie. And what he doesn't think about or what he doesn't realize is that there's an opposite reaction, right? The opposite reaction is that General Bethlehem is, probably a guy who has a shitty haircut and little hands. So he probably isn't going to like somebody delivering hope when he's not the one benefiting from it.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to have to make some sort of half-assed address that he can barely read.
Right.
So he's going to send out some guys.
These jokes will not be tolerated.
Well, he does not bless the United States.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So,
But there's something important about this town too. This is where he meets Ford, Lincoln, Mercury.
Yes, it does.
You
And
said,
he is,
you said his real name.
wait, it's going to degrade.
Well, don't tell all my stories. But yes,
This orbit's going to degrade.
he meets this kid, Ford, Lincoln, Mercury, and at this point, while I was invested a lot, I think at this moment I was like, "What the is going on?"
Really
here?
goofy.
Right, because
Yeah.
he becomes really impassioned. Because
He's
he
more
is-
impactful than the Postman himself, kind of.
in the end.
Yeah.
He is
He does all the work.
He is the total mirror image opposite of Giovanni Ribisi. He wants to feel like he's a part of something, but he's actually intelligent and knows how to get people behind it.
Right.
And so he starts, right, instead of just folding into a group or a clan, he wouldn't be welcome in the clan.
Right.
But instead of folding up into that, he's going to create his own thing based on the inspiration he feels from this other person's deeds.
Right, and he is willing to carry on the story he knows is not true too, which
At
I
least
kind of really appreciated about this movie
Later on.
where it wasn't a bunch of people duped by the, they knew,
Right.
they kind of knew. I guess we'll talk about that later. But
Well, yeah, like at least he furthers the same story.
I think
yeah, because he heard about President Starkey, but he writes letters as as the Postman writing
Well, I
from,
think he's
Right.
right. Like he is maybe subconsciously doing the exact same thing that Kevin Costner accidentally did.
Right. No, I think it's a purposeful carry out of that.
for sure. And you're right. He is it's sort of the same manipulative tactics that Patton's character carries out, but with a purpose of hope and positivity.
Yeah, he's
Right.
as much the opposite of Bethlehem as he was Ribisi. So
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
The because one of the lies that because he has to think on the spot. So what the Postman says is that the president's name is Richard Starkey, which is Ringo Starr.
Right.
Yeah.
And he flubs the line, but he basically borrows a Beatles song by saying it's getting better.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
Good point. Good point.
So he's basically just drawing off whatever he thinks he can pass that's deep enough to where people,
That
it
kid's
sounds
going to
good.
have no clue. He's
That
too
kid's
young.
not going to have any clue. Right.
Yes.
The older people might think, that sounds familiar. But he also flubs it enough to where, now it's been years since they probably heard a Beatles song.
Yeah, he didn't say I have to admit it's getting better.
Right.
He said things are getting better. So he indoctrinates this kid. I don't know what the right word.
Right. So
he brings him in.
The kid wants to be a postman too.
Yeah.
He's like, how do I be a postman? He's like, well, raise your right hand. And
he's like, you have to. One postman has to make another postman, and
It's kind of like a knight making another knight.
Yeah, but he relates it. Ford, Mercury, Lincoln, Prius, whatever Chevrolet is like vampires.
Right. Yes. And he's
Yeah,
like,
Which is funny, but how do they know about vampires?
I don't know.
I mean, that collective conscious has known about vampires for thousands of
That's
years.
fair.
So
But somebody's probably telling vampire stories still. But this kid,
Sure.
he's probably supposed to be like 15 or 16, 17 years old.
he
for
represents
whatever reason, unless I misheard it, he says like vampires, and I'm pretty sure that's what he
Yeah.
says. I don't know how he knows.
Well,
but-
somebody's telling campfire stories to scare the kids. I mean, he's representing the hopeful youth.
Yes.
Right. Like the ones that don't know any better.
Yes.
Who don't know the way that the world had worked before, or that they're the ones who, like, the adults fucked up, but these kids maybe can make things better.
Right.
That's the kind of the subtext of these kids, because everybody who becomes a postman is a kid, and
Right.
some of them get fucking murdered.
Yeah, not some. A lot of them.
A lot of them.
A lot of them.
And they're all 18 and under, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Costner's daughter was probably, 14 in this movie, probably?
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he dubs him, he knights him he turns him into a vampire mailman.
Yep.
He only operates at night. It's cool. Then he basically so
Oh, there's something you got to talk about here, right?
well, the kid puts a flag up.
Well, you can't even talk about that part because the most important thing is he is asked to have sex with a woman,
Abby.
impregnated.
Yeah.
Yeah, so ladies like, hey, I want you to put a baby in my bun.
So I wasn't really quite paying attention to that conversation.
No.
I was researching something on my phone or whatever. But
when
Hey
we
man,
were-
they were talking about.
why,
they
but
were-
why was the husband so willing to do this? Was
he was impotent.
How do they know? They weren't
She
having any
says
luck.
She said he had mumps when he was a kid.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
yeah.
I figured
Because
it
she
was something
checked
there.
him for mumps instant. Like, she's like, ooh, you're kind of sexy. Feel up your throat and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to put a fucking
She's very forward with
semen in my-
Costner, and it
Yeah.
looks like she's like
Hey, man.
wants sexy time for because
Forward
she wants
women,
a postman.
go for it, man.
Yeah, but it turns out she wants to be impregnated.
Yes.
He looks like a virile, strong guy, I guess.
Well, he
and he's
looks
a
like Kevin
postman.
Costner.
Yeah.
That used to mean something.
And
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
and then when they
Gosh
eventually,
darn it!
Then when they eventually do have sex, he says, he makes the comment, is like, should this be, just clinical or whatever, right? And she goes after it.
Oh,
Yeah, but she
is
tells him she
into
doesn't
it.
want to know his name, and it'd be easier for her if he closed his eyes.
He doesn't even tell us his name.
Right, but he offered. He offered.
I
to
feel
tell
like
her.
I got impregnated.
He offered to
by
tell
the
her, and
postman.
she said no.
Oh, okay. Well, I would have liked to have known. I'm glad he impregnated me before telling me.
Yeah. So he impregnates this girl.
Yes. What is he?
The postman?
Yes. What do they call him?
Postcoital? I don't remember.
That's where I was going.
No, what was the title she gave him? Or what did she say he
Oh,
was to
body father.
Body father.
Because
That
she is
didn't come
married.
yet. I'm sorry. Yeah, body father.
You're just the body father.
Yep.
Well, who says that?
She does.
I know, but
Well, that's future
That
talk.
she's the only one.
future
Remember,
talk.
everybody
It's the
said
true
that.
That's the true truth.
high five.
Oh, we should have done high elbows.
I cock
We're not
you
allowed
now.
to shake
Oh,
hands or
shit,
high five.
yeah.
Oh yeah, peeling back the sausage here. This is we just got on lockdown.
Hopefully the whole world isn't eradicated by the time this episode airs.
Well, we still have more listeners if that
That's
happens.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Self-deprecating humor is the best humor.
Ooh.
So anyway, the Yeah. So anyway, basically, Ford Lincoln Mercury, which is the kid's name, he wanted a cooler name because he wanted to drive cars. Now he wants to be a postman.
Right.
So he raises an American flag in this town, and Will Patton comes to
Outside
town.
the post office. He's cleaning the post office.
Cleaning up the post office. It's like, hey, man, I'm your
Serious
postman.
business.
And Will Patton comes to town. He's like, man, what is up with this motherfucker? And he like points at the fucking flag, and like, it's like, yeah, so somebody came to town saying, you know, they were a representative of the new United States or whatever.
The government.
The government. He's like, what government?
And Ford Prius Corvette.
Chevrolet Malibu.
No. Chevrolet Malibu.
He's hidden.
No, he's out there because that's when he yells out, "The United States government."
That's later.
No,
Yeah,
it's not.
two different scenes because they make
because
Abby's
the-
husband burn the flag first
Really?
Yes, because they hide him so that he can get out.
Oh, all right. Well, whatever.
because he's not.
It's
of
in the same
right,
scene, though.
Right. That's
in
not the reason they hide him.
scene.
Not the same scene.
It's in-
no,
yeah.
he's in the building and the mayor comes in and he's like, dude, you gotta fucking hide.
No, I know they hide him because he's
Right.
Yes.
Because it's like they're gonna come in here and fucking lynch your ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then Abby's
That's what he
husband
crawls out of after the fire burns under the smoke.
All
and
right.
you're like, well, why didn't you walk out? And I'm like, because smoke rises, asshole. Don't you learn anything
but
in
you
school?
could get out faster if you ran.
Be
That's a
cool
good
about
point, too.
fire safety, Jason.
Be cool.
Yeah. Anyway, what happened?
Fire safety.
Anyway,
fire
so
safety is a
fucking so
hoax.
now Will Patton knows that there's a postman,
Yeah, and he's like,
and
"A
that somebody
postman."
is trying to big dick him.
right.
Let's put it that way.
Spreading lies. You know, he doesn't think it's true, but
Well, he knows it's not true.
Yeah.
Because I mean, let's put it this way: if there was a real government, the first people who would get rooted out would be these motherfuckers.
Right.
The cavalry will come in and wipe out their camp.
Right. They
That's
wouldn't send a
that we know
postman,
how
they'd
the
send the
United
army
States would
over
work.
first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We know how the United States works. There ain't going to be none of these motherfuckers left. So basically, at this point, he's like, "All right, well, hey, kid." Check out that hot piece of ass over there, pointing at Abby. And the guy, her husband's like, hey, man,
Be cool.
be cool, man. That's my lady. That's my lady buns over there. That's what I want to get up into, but I don't know if I can. And
Oh, he can get up in there.
he's shooting blanks,
Exactly.
which practically is the whole Will Patton's army is too.
Yes.
So
And Will Patton himself
Can't get it up.
Get it
he
up.
can't even shoot blanks.
Yeah.
yeah, he can't shoot. So he's like, well, son, why don't you like back the fuck off? You're ahead right now. You might as well quit while you're ahead. You burned down that place for me.
You've done me a favor. Let's not ruin it here right now, buddy.
Pretty much exactly what he says.
Yeah.
But he stabs him anyway and kills him.
Right, because
He's that type of bad guy.
because the guy says you can't have my wife.
Yeah.
You can't. And he's like, this isn't a world of you can't.
This is a feudal system, and I am enacting prima
nocta.
Yeah. Remember when people got really mad when Iron Man said that? Remember that
Iron Man said that?
in Age of Ultron?
Why'd they get mad?
Because the internet, because Twitter.
Thank you for explaining that to me.
Yeah. Right.
Nailed it.
Exactly. That
Yep.
explained it perfectly.
Yep. Say no more. Say no more.
I don't remember the context for that. It doesn't
He
matter.
just explained it to us.
Yeah,
The internet.
he said it was when everybody was trying to lift Thor's hammer in Age of Ultron, and he's like, if I lift it, I'm enacting prima nocta.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody went fucking.
Yeah, but whatever.
I also got
Iron
mad
Man
over.
can't even tell a joke.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so anyway, they want the postman or whoever's claiming that the United States is back. They've got Abby. This is when we find out that Abby's a badass. So they go to the next town that the postman's at, and he's delivering mail, and that's where Colonel Sanders runs the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From Spaceballs.
From Spaceball.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by assholes.
And they decide the guards decide, well, the U.S. government is back. We don't have to let these assholes in.
And so they say, and pull out the fucking cannons and shit.
Yeah, just like shoot them with arrows.
You shoot them with the arrows before they shoot the cannon.
The one time Jeff says this movie's not working is when he doesn't understand why the two guys with like really flimsy Boy Scouts bow and arrows can't take out Will Patton from like 200 yards.
When he has cannons and a militia behind him. Jeff's like, I've seen Rambo. There's two Rambos there.
You light the end of those fucking arrows. See what that does. It probably explodes.
Yeah, you never know. They probably light themselves on fire.
It probably would.
But Bethlehem is pissed about this.
Yeah, he's
So
like,
the
what do you mean they're not going to let us in?
Yeah, the postman, he gets pissed, and the postman goes, he suggests that they negotiate a peace
Right,
treaty.
and so Colonel Sanders, because he's chicken,
Yeah, ooh.
he says,
Pretty soon he's about to be fried chicken.
he says, well, you're a representative of the government.
You go. He's like, well, fuck.
Yeah, step
So-
in his own doo-doo there.
Yep,
on that
at
one.
this point, because it's like, oh shit, I've already been face to face with this guy several times.
But he's beardless now.
He's beardless
And that's
now.
very important.
That's very important. He waves a white flag and he's like, hey, parlay at this point.
Right.
So he's like, hey, this is the deal. They will give you more stuff as an apology. Just leave or whatever. And Will Patton, rightfully, I will say I am agreeing with his
You're
mentality
agreeing with
at
the
this.
Klan. Be careful.
Yeah, I know.
It's the
Klan with
strategic
the
move
seat.
that you would have made, Jeff.
Well, he's like, the fuck are you?
Yeah.
No.
I'll
show you. I'm going to blow the fucking place up. And he does.
Yeah, he destroys it.
Yeah, but before he can kill.
they're about to kill the postman.
Right. And so, somebody just gets shot. Oh, shit, Abby's a fucking badass.
Yeah.
Now, who's Abby? Who is Abby?
That's Olivia Williams.
So what was she in?
Shit. Now I can't remember.
The postman.
Rushmore.
Rushmore. Yeah, she was the teacher that Jason Schwartzman was obsessed with, and that he and Bill Murray fought over the affections for. That movie is so great.
Yes, it is.
We may have to talk about that sometime.
I love that movie. Yes, that's Olivia Williams.
Yeah, so she, and she's hot.
Oh, she's smoking in this.
Yeah, this is like one of her first movies
It
or
is.
something.
Yeah, it came right before Rushmore.
So she's, she turns out to be pretty much of a badass.
Yeah.
And this is a good action scene. I will say this is
It's important to note that she was dragged around by Bethlehem.
because he took her.
Because
after
he took her and he was going to, it was his right to take her. So that's
Well,
why
that's
she's
what he
there.
thought.
But yeah, sorry.
So
I just didn't want to think she appeared out of nowhere. at
Well,
this new
she
town.
could.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd be okay
She's
with
a
that.
badass.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. It's like Batman. She can appear and disappear whenever she
But
wants.
she has a good shot. And this
She
is a
is
cool.
very
She is-
good.
She's badass.
Yeah.
Yes. So she saves the postman, and he gets on a horse and saves her from somebody because she runs out of bullets.
Yeah.
No more bullets.
No, wait, why come?
Yeah. So he.
How come?
How
why
come-
come no more
why come
bullets?
no more bullets?
So he gets her, and they ride off, but he's been hit. So they hole up for like the whole of winter.
Yeah.
I mean,
2 or 3 beers worth of time.
right. Absolutely. At least 2 or 3 beards
Time
Yeah.
passes.
by beard.
Time passed so much so that the postman got so bored he pissed Jason off by playing tic-tac-toe
Tic-tac-toe with himself on a condensed window. Yeah.
But you know what, though? In a post-COVID-19 world,
3 days.
I just don't think.
Yeah.
I just don't think that I would ever be that bored that I would play
I-
tic-tac-toe with myself.
You were bad.
100% guaranteed if FanDuel gave you like numbers, you'd fucking do it.
Well, that's different. That would imply that there's actually a game of chance involved. Tic-tac-toe with yourself. There's no game of chance there.
No, it's cat's game every time, unless you screw yourself over.
I mean, and the only way that works is if you have gone crazy and you're playing with one of your multiple personalities.
I have
Right.
nightly games.
But does he still have some screws loose at this point? He's still.
Well, he's not. I mean, he's still
kind of selfish.
Yeah.
he's very selfish.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do kind of like about this is that our hero is flawed in a world full of absolutely flawed people
He's not the hero of this movie, really,
No, he's really not.
until the end.
until the end. Right.
Everyone else is a hero around him, and that's what I think makes him the hero, is that he realizes
that, oh shit, I just put all these people. Like at first, because he's
they
fighting.
inspire him.
Yes.
The America he creates on accident, technically,
Right.
inspires him to be a better person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. The real hero is freaking
Prius motorcade.
Volkswagen. Yeah.
Yeah, Volkswagen.
Yeah.
Well, but the thing is, though, is that
And
he
Abby.
fucks up
And
too.
Abby.
And Abby, for sure.
Yeah.
Right, because he kind of fucks up too by bringing in all these other kids that ultimately start getting murdered
Well,
on
yeah,
a lie.
But it's a big deal, though.
well, yeah. I mean, he is the protagonist.
It's
I mean,
a
he is
big
forwarding
deal.
the story.
Yeah, it's a big deal that he starts connecting these towns and bringing these other kids in.
Right.
And
I mean, it gets
and
to
making
a
the
point.
Postman a legend that people start to hear about and give them ideas of.
But the
of
Postman
America.
What it
starts to
ultimately
get
does.
uncomfortable with that when children start dying.
Yes. Yeah.
But what ends up happening because of all of that, I guess, is that at the end they have an army bigger
They do.
than Bethlehem's.
They've connected people who don't want to put up with this shit anymore.
Right.
Right. They have a real cause that isn't just greed.
And we get
Right.
all of that.
It isn't just the one more day of life.
From a 3-second
from his 30-second conveyor what is it? The
A
zip
line?
line. His 30-second zip line ride from the dam.
Well,
in-
there was another moment of this earlier,
Yeah, but-
Well,
he's
but
like-
you really like the other moment.
which other moment?
Oh, because when they start delivering the mail, they start chopping up scenes, and then
Oh,
Will
yeah.
Patton comes back and says, "All right, you got to stop." And you
yeah,
see
yeah.
his
yeah,
plan.
Yeah. I
Basically,
did.
the escalation you were in for. So I don't understand why you didn't like the second time they.
No, I
intercut
did.
that.
What I didn't really like about that was that it was just really cheesy. Like
I
I
mean-
mean, it's this really bad kind of zip line to
Well,
this
come on,
other
you-
town
but
that
come
he's
on,
supposed
you-
to get
I mean,
to, and like, what's that about?
You
It's like,
just spent 2
all of a
hours and
sudden-
45 minutes of cheese.
all of a sudden the
Well, it's
Postman
really
runs
cheesy.
into who?
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty, yeah.
Actually,
playing
Tom Petty.
himself.
Tom Petty
Yeah.
playing
Hey,
Tom Petty.
hey, you
Tommy
back
Tongue
off.
in cheek
Expected
version of himself.
anything else after that?
It's pretty. It's
back
pretty
off
silly.
of this.
I'm just saying, if you weren't sure at this point
I will
what
back
this
down.
movie was about, yeah, you could stand him up to the gates of hell. Jeff.
Hey, man, it's don't do me like that.
Oh,
Wow, we can finish this with just song titles, right?
yeah. yeah.
This episode's free follow, gentlemen.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yikes.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, really, it's 3 hours of a person inspiring other towns. The
And another person's ransacking towns. Basically, they just
Right.
do this back and forth the whole
it's,
movie.
it's a stalemate for almost all of it because
Right.
because the other thing is about Ford Lincoln Mercury is that he's not backing down.
He's
Right.
escalating.
He's escalating it
Yeah.
because what he ends up doing at one point, they ambush a bunch of Bethlehem's guys, and Kevin Costner says, like, we got to hide these bodies because otherwise they're going to come to this town with all the stairs
We don't want them
Yeah.
to think that.
that these people did this to them.
Right.
So hide the bodies. So Ford Lincoln Mercury throws them into a flaming truck and fucking plows into Bethlehem's encampment.
He basically sends a message that says,
We're at war.
"No postage due."
Yeah, he does say that.
Yeah.
Post this. I
You
wish
owe
it
me.
said motherfucker.
You owe me for these bodies.
which I think is really dumb.
I'm coming around.
Yeah, it
I
is
think
really
I think
dumb.
that's really dumb. That's one of those little things in this movie that start to add up to just dumb shit, dumb fuckery. Because he doesn't know what PS means at the end of a letter.
right.
But Kevin Costner does.
Yeah,
It's
but
postcoital.
It is post.
but he knows terms like postmaster general
Post scrotum.
and terms like postage due,
post
Right.
semen. Sorry, go
and
ahead.
how to use that in context.
Right.
Right?
Well, he's learned that.
Yeah, he
stuff.
might have
How
learned
would
it
he learn that?
because he's been with the Postman now, is stuck around that town for some amount of time.
This movie has gone on for 4 years.
The Postman was there for a long time. They delivered a lot of mail. A lot
I
of
don't
kids
know.
died. A lot of
But he was
beards were
calling
grown
himself
and
the
shaved.
postmaster general from the start.
Maybe.
I don't know.
No, he didn't call himself that until he met the guy from. By the way,
I just think it's cheesy. It's
This
just one of those little
slips in.
things that just is ugh.
In the movie, so Ford Lincoln Mercury gets captured, and he is, and by the way, that really is his name in this movie, is Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Yeah.
Chuck is going to continue to fuck it
At
up.
one point, they should have changed it to Ford Escape when he was a captive.
Yeah, exactly. So
That might be the last one because I don't think I could do that.
You got no more left in you. So Ford Lincoln Mercury at one point does get captured.
Yep.
And one of the guys that was sent in to be a mole in the Postal Service. the saying that is something I never thought I'd ever
Well,
say.
yeah, you've developed this militia of the Postal Service.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So he's sent in as a mole, and he says he kind of like doesn't really want to see this kid get killed, and he's like, "Yo, Will Patton, that's his number 2. Maybe he's worthy of keeping alive as trade bait." Basically.
This is when you know he's kind of waffling on his...
He's kind of waffling. He doesn't want to be the cause of anybody's death,
Right.
So Will Patton's like, "Oh, whatever, you're gone soft," or whatever, which is probably what Abby told him too.
Yeah, you yeah, nailed it.
So
He didn't know.
so there's another guy that's been captured. yeah. You didn't. So there's another guy who's been captured, and like they've never met each other. And this slides in.
Right, it's funny because I was like, who is that? If
Right.
he's a postman. Who the hell is he?
So he says, "Well, who are you?" And the other kid says, "Well, I'm such and such
Delivery 47 of
whatever,
California or something.
the New Republic of California." So Will Patton was always going to lose.
Right.
He didn't know it until then, though.
Right,
Well-
because he's like, "Wait, you guys don't know each other," but at that point,
He knew it was a bigger problem. He still was relishing the fight at that point. I don't think he expected to lose, but he definitely realized, oh, I can't just
I'm a lumbering dinosaur at this point.
I can't just kill these guys, and I've got to really actively pursue the eradication of this whole problem.
But there's another group though. That's the thing that slides in that I feel like in a book probably would have been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, California is completely and totally governized now, or whatever.
Well, yeah,
you know, and so
but the legend of Ford Lincoln Mercury has grown.
right.
So that
Like
the
he-
Because
California,
he says I'm the postmaster.
He has inspired an entire government now
Right.
to rise up in
yes,
California.
because he says it's an honor to meet you. So this is all stemming from that lie.
Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't like an isolated same occurrence. It was
Do you-
all stemming.
So the
Which why this actually would you could make this story a really interesting like 10 episode HBO series.
Probably.
Sure.
It would be pretty good.
With one episode of bad country music and dancing.
And they kind of did make this
Where's Amy
story
Grant?
into a TV show. I don't know if you ever saw Jericho.
I saw some of it.
Oh, I
In
know
a
of
lot
it.
of ways, this is Jericho.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, at the end, the postman wins. 30 years later, he's dead. He's got a statue, and the United States is back up fully strong.
And Mary Stuart Masterson is his daughter. How'd that happen?
Yeah, right? Like, how the mighty have fallen from some kind of wonderful, right?
And incidentally, that's how the story is told in this movie. They talk and shit happens for an hour, and then a part of the story gets told really quickly. Like Jeff just told the end.
Right. That's the weird
There's
thing
probably
about this
another
movie.
hour left of the film that you just went through. Not that I'm complaining, but you,
Well, I
It
mean,
does
okay,
kind of
there's-
feel. It does kind of feel like they got into editing, and they were like, "Oh shit, man!"
We got an 8-hour movie.
Right. Well, they had already edited the first 2 acts and realized they were over 2 hours, and they were like, "But we have all this footage for the last." thing."
Holy
Should've
shit,
cut out
Tom
those-
Petty's in the cast.
So
Yeah.
we haven't gotten to
and
him
they were
yet.
probably "Well, crap, we gotta condense all that down into the last 30 minutes."
which is stupid because there was so much in the first 2 hours that could have been cut to allow for
I agree.
the better stuff at the end.
I would really have allowed the latter stuff to breathe more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, because like at this point, like the postman himself has rallied the troops to fight the Klan, essentially.
Yeah.
And he ends up deciding he's not going to let people just die on both sides for this useless bullshit fight that this little dick, soft dick man wants. You know, who's probably got the initials DJT.
Oh God.
Anyway, so he's like, "Hey, man, I used to be part of you." He like rips off his sleeve and shows off his 8.
And he's like, "Who are you?" Shakespeare. Oh,
Oh,
so
it's
stupid.
you.
It's Shakespeare, that
Yeah.
mother humper.
Mother humper.
Bethlehem.
I challenge you under Rule 7.
Yeah, Rule 7.
Rule 7.
So he's like, all right, cool. Because
You
now
can't-
at this point, he has literally rattled the dick.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's not just rattled the saber, but he's like, oh shit.
So what do they do to
They
fight?
they hump each other.
They charge horses at each other
And
first.
jump and leap
and
at
then
each other.
jump off their horses at each other to tackle each other onto the
I
ground.
wish the horses
would've broke-
exploded.
in
like,
90 slow
bones.
motion.
yeah.
They would have broke bones. 25
Oh, for sure.
miles on a horse
Oh, these
jumping at each
guys
other.
are in
They
their
would've been-
40s.
Yeah.
I promise you, we would have broken bones.
In our 20s, we would have broken bones if we did that. All I'm
Dude.
saying is that,
I fell on ice like 3 months ago on my elbow, and it's still sore.
yeah. You couldn't have a Barry Beard fight and survive,
A
Jason.
berry beard fight.
Yep. You want to go at it, Chuck?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. We welcome you to our beard fight as soon as people are allowed to go places.
Move the coffee table so Jeff and I can erotically thrive on the floor while we're fighting.
But they do. It's like a wrestling match.
It
It's
is.
There's
so
a lot
silly.
of butts. They keep
Yeah.
they keep doing
The
shots
slow
of
motion,
butts.
we get to see butt,
There's
man.
some bad slow motion in this movie.
There is.
It's
97.
90s slow motion.
90s
but
slow
yeah.
motion. It's bad.
Yeah, a little bit later in the year, you're going to read my review of Tomorrow Never Dies, and I rail on bad slow motion because that fucking movie, man.
I mean, this movie was slow already. They didn't have to slow parts down a bit.
Things happen at a normal pace.
Yeah. It was speed up the other parts and then go normal for this shit.
Double time. Double time.
It was
It'd be like a Charlie Chaplin movie. I would have loved it.
well, no, they do the double time when he's on the fucking thing when
You
they
might be
first
right.
let him go.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
God,
like it
yeah.
goes in the fast
It
motion.
does, yeah.
But
So
no,
stupid. Like Tom Petty's like, we need more power, and the whole thing operates on a rock dropping. I didn't understand any.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it
that
doesn't.
contra-
Don't worry
whatever.
about it.
Yeah,
Don't
all
worry
it
about
was just a simple machine, like
Yeah.
a counterbalance. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, well, no, there was a little bit of electricity because of sparks, and he's like, "Hey, it's working."
That's what I'm
perfect."
saying, but I don't think
it
that
didn't, but that
necessary-
didn't
was
actually
necessary.
power the zip line, though. It was the
It
counterbalance.
didn't have anything to do with it.
It was
Yeah, fair
really
enough.
goofy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm giving this movie a pass.
Yeah, you should. And
Do you recommend it? No.
yeah, you recommend this movie? Did it deliver, Jeff? Did it?
No, God damn it, there was something I was gonna say. Oh, so Will Patton was gonna get like strangled. He was like gonna get fucking choked out by Kevin Costner.
He's telling him he doesn't believe in anything, and that's why he's going to lose. And
Which is like, what do you? I mean, like that's some gaslighting bullshit.
yeah, he was
man.
gaslighting the shit out of him. But Kevin Costner got like Hulk Hogan power
Yes.
from loving the USA.
Yes, he does
I'm
believe in something
surprised-
now.
yeah,
he
I'm
believes,
surprised
started
he didn't put his
chanting-
he
hand up
believes
to
in
his
the United
ear
States of
and like go
America.
to the corner of the ring and listen for that cheer and say, "You other
USA.
Hulkamaniacs want me to kill this
USA.
motherfucker, brother? Yeah, brother, you want me to kill him, brother?" And he did ride around with his 24-inch pythons, like just I'm
did.
screaming
He
into
did.
the mic. I'm sorry, but he did. He was
It's like flexing.
he was flexing.
Showing everyone his tattoo.
Yeah.
His
What's that
brand, his
tattoo?
brand, his
Brand.
brand,
His
yeah.
brand. He was showing everyone his fucking
Oh,
24-inch pythons. Brother.
So then,
Let me show you something. Sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
So then it's like, okay, so like he's like, no, you know what? I'm better than this. I'm in charge, assholes, because I just beat him.
I won.
Ostensibly, he beat him,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
So he's like, but then, like, of course, Will Patton's gonna grab the gun.
Before that,
Oh yeah, before that you got
Chevy, Prius, whatever.
Toyota. He
Toyota
comes
comes
in
over.
and it's like rule number 8, motherfucker.
Penalty is death.
Penalty is death. And like Kevin Costner's like, nah, dude, man.
Nah, dude,
that's cool.
we're playing by different rules now, man.
Yes,
Rule number
it's-
1 is no more killing.
Right, which
Yeah.
which he says, rule number 1.
No more killing.
And it's like, wait, what?
Only,
I'm sorry, I
The
didn't.
guys
hear
in the back are like, what do you say? Rule number 1 is
kill everybody.
no more swimming.
Rule number 2 is like love your brother or something. I don't know. Like, no, rule number
4
3
through 7 were dad ass.
dad ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Olivia.
no, because we saw dad ass during the wrestle. during
Yeah,
the bear fight.
those asses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, but then like
Speaking of asses, I miss Bill at this point. But go.
Yeah, that was sad. They were eating him.
They ate Bill.
That's sad.
Yeah, sorry.
Motherfucker.
Because
they
Bill
don't.
was immortalized in the statue at the end.
Yes, he was. What was that? Not
That was Bill.
Was that a
Wasn't
different
that Bill?
horse?
That was a horse.
Oh,
Bill
it was
a mule.
horse. Bill was a mule. Yeah.
Bill
So
was.
Bill was
did-
an ass.
When did Bill get?
Catch up, Jason.
Well,
When did Bill
no,
get killed?
at the camp at Will
They
Patton's
put him
camp.
in the gruel.
Oh yeah.
because they
Costner
said, "Well,
wouldn't
tell him
eat.
what he's eating."
They
It's
shot
like
the horse
mule.
later when they were in the cabin. Yeah.
Yes. There were animals that died a lot in this movie.
But that's not even the animal that's in the statue.
No, it's not.
No.
You're
It's
checked
fine.
out.
It's fine.
It's
fine.
I'm gonna,
I
I'm gonna
derailed
I
rail
gave
this.
this movie all the attention it deserved.
I derailed it. Go ahead.
So anyway, so then Will Patton, of course, grabs the gun. It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you!" And then the guy who's like basically his little bitch boy
The last dude who'd ever challenged him before,
got his tongue cut
Before the
off
Postman
and his
did.
balls cut off.
and he's been his lapdog ever since, following him around. The constant reminder to everyone else: this is what happens if you challenge me.
Right.
Is this guy?
Right?
There are 100 movies where this happens.
Yeah.
well, shit.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Fucking Dwight from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And he's got the fucking iron on his face for
Yeah.
challenging Negan.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it's an age old trope.
Right.
It's the age old trope. So you got little man, literal. I mean, like really, like Will Patton's not even that big of a dude.
No.
So, but like he is little in esteem, and probably
But yeah,
a little
Ford
dick.
Lincoln Mercury lets him off the hook, doesn't kill him.
He's the bigger man.
Yeah, he's a bigger man. He has the stupid new rule number 8, which is live and let live, that nobody liked.
Yeah, it's like Paul McCartney can't write a tune to that.
The villain always comes back for one last scare.
Yep, and then that dude shoots
That
him.
dude shoots him, and everything's good. And then 30 years later, it's like nothing ever happened. It's like 1997.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they
pretty
still
much.
didn't have the internet.
Apparently not. Because he had-
2043.
2043.
Yeah.
30 years later.
Hope. What a dumb name they named her daughter.
Oh, it's so on the nose.
Yeah, this movie
But
was
this
very...
is what people would do.
Would they?
People, yes,
No.
yes, dude.
Why wouldn't she like find a way to honor her dead
do you-
husband or something? Like with like a play on his name or
Yeah,
something.
why didn't they just name her
Why Hope?
Body Father?
Body Father? Body Father Machine.
Body Father Machine, go! And credits.
So I don't know. Anyway, no, I mean there are things in this movie
Or Baby Daughter.
that
Baby daughter.
baby daughter. That seems like
Body
something that-
daughter.
baby
Body
daughter.
Daughter.
Baby daughter would be something that they would say in
You're
like
not my real daughter.
Demolition
You're
Man.
just my body daughter.
Yeah, that's the relationship
Yeah.
he had with her for the rest of her life. Sorry, kid, you're just,
Just
my body daughter.
And then when she's having the speech when they're unveiling the statue, it's like, I remember nights when he used to call me body daughter.
He wouldn't read to me. He wouldn't talk
He
to
just
me.
he would just, like straight arm me out of the room when he wanted to fuck my mom.
Yeah, it was sweet and like at the end they have this nice, big
Well,
statue of him.
right. He was the progenitor of the new United States.
I honestly think they should have had Lincoln Ford Mercury in that too.
Like just hanging out, like waving.
Maybe he
like
was-
in the
he
back.
Maybe he was
As-
still alive
he
or
w-
something.
maybe,
he
yeah.
would be.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be that much older. He'd be like 50 maybe.
He
Yeah.
should have been in that scene. He was instrumental in
Oh
everything.
yeah, that would have been see him in old man makeup, or just hire like I don't know Danny Glover to be there.
Yeah.
That would have worked.
Probably.
Actually, yeah.
Actually, kind of does. He did. Yeah, he does kind of look like a young.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that in that year he would have been
It would have been perfect.
he would have
would've
been
been
Lethal
fine.
Weapon 4 age or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would have been 3 days away from retirement.
Yeah. He's like, I'm too old for this shit.
I'm Lincoln Ford Mercury, but all those companies no longer exist.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just Postman.
Now I'm Chevron Sunoco. He moved on.
I'm Phillips
He moved on to
76.
gas stations.
Grass stations.
Whatever.
That's what Tom
That's
Petty
what Tom
has.
Petty had. Yeah, his gas station.
So
Don't
all
I
right.
look a lot higher than I look? What did he say? Sorry.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's a lot higher. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
I'm a lot higher than I look.
Yeah. No, here's the thing. There's a charming element to this movie, right? There's the idea of one man can make a change.
Sure.
Which is kind of a theme throughout this entire movie, except for
has
that
been.
fucking Hudson Hawk movie.
Right. The black hole.
the black hole of this month. But the rest of the movies this month have been kind of that idea, right? Like one person can inspire change or creates change.
It's amazing how like sort of post-apocalyptic this month has been as well.
Right.
Well, we found out what happened with when we finished Hudson Hawk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we shut down the whole goddamn world.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got things started back up for our next, for the week after that, so new episodes and everything could come out. But
Yeah.
but things were looking pretty dicey when Amazon shut down.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But seriously though, we had Zardoz post-apocalyptic. Cloud Atlas had a post-apocalyptic storyline
With a similar character redemption. I don't want to say that the Postman was a bad person, but he definitely had a huge change, just like the Tom Hanks character did.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Southland Tales is a story about how the apocalypse happens,
Right.
and then this is the aftermath of an apocalypse.
Yep.
Yeah,
And Hudson Hawk is just
and that wasn't planned,
Hudson Hawk.
which is weird.
Yeah, no, it's just we gravitated towards it because I think the thing is post-apocalyptic movies are something that you have to be in the mood for, and they can easily fail. We could have done Waterworld.
Yeah, we talked about it.
We could.
I think
I think
Waterworld.
that was the first one mentioned, and then
Yeah.
Waterworld, I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen Waterworld, but I feel like it's maybe a more fun movie than this.
Well, the thing is with Waterworld was that it got piled on too for
It
how
did.
much it cost.
Yes.
And how little came out from it
Right.
or whatever. But at the same time, it's kind of like, remember how everybody said that Geely was the worst movie ever made? And then you saw Geely and you're like, that's not a good movie, but
Right. But that came out in the storm of Bennifer and all that shit.
well, whatever. It doesn't matter.
The
point is a pylon
but
happened.
Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck were the biggest thing in the world in celebrity news,
Sure.
right? And then that movie came out and it was just a thud.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right. But at the same time, it's like, people, there are constantly movies that are more, that are piled on that don't deserve it, right? Waterworld was one that we probably,
there's
we
a lot
could
of
have talked
people
about.
that really like Waterworld. Like I've
Sure.
heard people talk about Waterworld in an affectionate way.
Yes.
Way more than I've heard people talk
Absolutely.
about this film. in affection.
Absolutely. I mean, 25 years can do a lot for a movie.
There has
reevaluation can happen.
There has been reappraisal on Waterworld. I cannot speak to the validity of such reappraisal for myself because I have not watched Waterworld in a long time. But I'm kind of
curious.
There's a groundswell around it now where I'm kind of curious. Yeah.
Well,
exactly.
it got released on 4K UHD,
Right.
Which means that somebody's buying it.
Yeah. Arrow put it out.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So I mean, it's not like it's a, I mean, so again, this movie, I mean, this movie's a little bit more forgotten because I don't think people remember the pylon on this, and I don't think people remember. I mean, and once they see it and they say, "Oh my God, it's 3 hours," maybe not.
And
Maybe I'm not going to
It's
watch
got
this.
plenty of reasons to be hated on.
Sure,
Quite honestly.
I mean, some people aren't going to buy into the cheese of it. I find it somewhat charming.
I wish they would have leaned into his weirdness more because his
Exactly.
weirdness just seemed weird and out of place when it happened instead of part of his character.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
if this became more of a character study, or at least devote the second act to his character,
And it
or
feels
something
like
like
they
that.
gave up on a lot of early themes, like him like thinking in television.
Yeah.
Happened
Yeah.
quite often in the beginning. The lion, I don't know how important or if I wanted that thing to continue, just disappears after it makes the
Would have been
kill.
interesting if it came
looked
back
like-
at the end.
It looked like it was going to be a recurring kind of theme
Yeah.
right.
to the
right.
movie, but it
like
wasn't.
almost like a metaphor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like the horse in I can't even think. Never mind. But there is another animal metaphor in a Hannibal. The show Hannibal.
Oh yeah.
The ram
Sure.
or the elk or whatever.
It's the elk, yeah.
Something
Yeah.
that appears all the time to signify something.
Right.
But I don't know.
Well,
It feels
and
like they gave
similarly-
up on a lot of things
Yeah.
real early in this movie that they had planned to carry on, and then they're like, we just don't have time to
Sure.
do this.
Well,
shit.
and the thing,
Yeah.
right? And it's like you don't have time. You have 3 hours.
Right.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like
But
there was one thing that they did keep I wrote it down as a note because I thought it was kind of clever. He is constantly making jokes.
Yep.
And people are saying to him multiple times, whether it's in context to a joke or you're just like at one point, Will Patton just says this to him. You're a funny person, but nobody laughs at any of the jokes he makes.
No,
he's the only one who laughs at his jokes.
Yes.
And there's something there with that, right?
Sure.
Because it's like, oh, he's stuck in his own head. I get it. I laugh at my own jokes all the fucking time. You should see sometimes I'm just sitting here by myself laughing at something that I thought about.
Right.
I'm insane. But the thing is, though, it's like that would definitely be part of my character if I was a character in a movie. And this was part of his character that does carry throughout the movie, but there's no real beginning or end of that.
And it doesn't really, you can't really connect it to other parts of his personality.
Right.
He's not,
right, they didn't lean into
he's
it
not
with
fully realized as a character. And it's kind of shocking that he's not.
Right. Ford Lincoln Mercury is 10 times the character he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abby is 20 times the character he is.
That's I wonder
Shit,
if
Tom Petty's more of a character than
Tom Petty is a character.
Well, he was.
But speaking of jokes,
just because you are a character,
when he goes
doesn't
into
mean
that,
you have character.
Right. When he walks into that town and he says, "If there's dogs here, you're gonna have to chain them up." While I'm here,
that's a great
It's
joke.
hilarious, and
That's a
the reaction
great
of the
joke.
people is funny because they're like,
We
don't do jokes anymore.
Because it's been like 17 years or whatever since they even had to think about a dog barking at a mailman.
Right.
That's a brilliant joke.
Yeah.
And like he's so awkward in the delivery of it. That's brilliant.
But they give up on that.
They
theme.
give it up.
They give up on that theme too that he's lost in the real world still.
yes.
Yes. Right.
Or they don't give us a reason to believe he's moved on. It's
Right.
just a movie problem.
Right.
Or they try to treat it like it is a problem, and it shouldn't be. It should be the way he actually connects to people, right?
Is by reminding them.
Of civilization, reminding them
Right.
of things that they did laugh about and things.
But it never works that
and
way.
it never works that way.
Right.
Right. It's like just
He has to abandon it almost to become
Yeah,
this,
the only
this folk
thing that
hero.
really works is him delivering mail.
Yeah.
There's no deeper part of it.
Like he shows up that one town where he meets Abby and the town where he meets
Pineview.
Right, Pineview. And they celebrate his arrival. Like they have like a little dance and like it's a little
Oh,
hoedown.
yeah, when he comes back, yeah.
Well, no, they do it the first night too. They have a hoedown.
Oh, yeah, true.
Because he slinks away from it to steal a horse to leave, but then he ends up at the post office or whatever.
Right.
Where he meets Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Yeah.
Well, it's not where he meets him, but
It's weird. They have that old school prophet moment too with the old man. What you're looking for is right over there, and he's literally talking about the post office, but it turns out to be
Ford Lincoln Mercury.
yes.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, actually.
Yeah.
That actually does work. Now that you put that into context, that actually does work because he is better at just showing up and being a representative of an old way, but letting the new kid take over.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I guess in a way that's sometimes how things work, but it's not well delineated in this, right?
Correct.
The postman is an idea. It's not really him. It never really is him.
Right. He's just a goofball that cons his way into a town.
He's just the body father.
And none
of
of
the
it
Postman.
works. And none of it works without Ford Lincoln Mercury.
Right.
Exactly. Like
Right.
the whole thing, like he would move on and never be seen again if it wasn't for this kid who just all of a sudden now buys in 100%.
Right.
Even if the kid knows that he's bullshit, he wants to be a part of something.
Right.
Yep.
And that makes and so really it's Ford Lincoln Mercury's movie.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I said he's the hero.
He's the hero.
Yeah.
At least he's the protagonist.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Kevin Costner has I guess a bit of a redemptive moment at the end. But yeah, Ford Lincoln Mercury is the reason.
It's weird. It's like we follow the pebble
Right.
that gets thrown in the water, but not the important ripples that follow.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was why I think the movie doesn't work, because of the fact that Kevin Costner's character is really not that interesting.
No.
Or he could be, but they don't make him interesting.
Yeah.
And all the ripple is the interesting stuff, and they don't spend enough time with it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Fair.
all right. I still find some charm in this movie.
It's not a terrible movie.
No, it's not deserving quite of its pile.
But it's not.
It's not a great.
It's
movie.
not a great movie.
A little rework, like you had mentioned. I think this could be a really good movie.
Let's put it this way:
There is a cut of this movie that is better. I don't know if it would still be a good movie, but it would be better.
Yeah,
fair.
It's like for me, I'll just watch Dances with Wolves.
Right. Well, fuck, I'll just watch Waterworld now. I'm just gonna watch it.
Do it.
It's got to be.
Report back.
Fuck, I'm gonna watch Tombstone.
Fuck it. Wait.
What?
Wyatt Earp?
Yeah.
No, he's gonna watch Tombstone.
Yeah.
He's pissed at Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
The Tombstone.
Kevin Costner has made 3 baseball movies.
Yes, he has. Mm-hmm. One of them is really good. The other 2 I haven't seen. But
Were
I
they
also
all
like
strikes or
Wait
balls?
a minute. You've not seen Field of Dreams?
Oh shit! I've seen 2.
So you've 2 of 3. You haven't seen For Love of the Game. That
That's
was
the one.
Sam Raimi.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's not a bad movie.
Really?
It's more melodrama. It's definitely different.
This movie could have probably worked more if it was just straight melodrama
It would
Postman.
have. It would have.
instead of trying to bring in this epic action movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's because that's one thing that Dances with Wolves does do better. It's a melodrama.
Mm-hmm.
It's just straight melodrama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are exciting scenes, but it's just the straight.
But it's funny too because a lot of people's complaints about Postman is that it was overly melodramatic and belabored.
But your cut would probably make it more melodramatic
I think so.
and probably less belabored, but more melodramatic.
Yeah.
Melodrama works when it's not belabored.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The more you hit that nail on the head, the more you start to groan and you realize. I mean, again, going back to The Invisible Man, that is a Lifetime. That's 3 different types of Lifetime movies that's made perfect.
Huh.
And it draws on each of the strengths of the different types of thrillers or
Right.
types of things that Lifetime Movie of the Week would do. Draws on those strings, and then just when it's about to tip over, it switches to another style.
That sounds like a kind of a perfect storm of really, really good acting.
Yes.
A self-awareness.
Yes. It is totally self-aware.
And then just good performances.
Yep. Which is also another way of saying good acting.
Yeah.
So it's just good
Right.
acting twice.
Right.
Yep. Double the good acting in this movie.
Well, no, but whatever.
Acting and performance are not the same.
No, I
never
just
mind.
Whatever.
did I say performances and acting?
Yes.
Did you mean directing?
No, I said self-awareness.
No, you said it's really good acting.
I said
self-awareness
really good
and
writing.
really good.
I said really good writing.
You didn't. You probably meant to say
You
right.
surprised-
Then I
but,
meant to say writing.
yeah.
Really good writing, self-awareness, and good performances.
Because we
Acting,
have
yes.
this on tape. We can prove you.
You're
wrong.
right, we
Don't
can.
die
Literally
on
on
this hill,
tape.
Jason.
Well, hell, I did mean writing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
very good. Well, no, that's right. That's exactly
Yes.
right. We actually literally record these on tape.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Those old reel-to-reels.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have the magnetic
35
reel-to-reels running behind us right
We're
now.
gonna play the 35 millimeter version or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
tired. That
so
movie was
yeah, this
long.
is and this episode's long.
long.
But that's okay. We talked about a lot of good stuff. We did it, guys.
Oh, wow.
So a couple of things here. Next week we're gonna we got some new stuff coming. First of all, we're leaving the theme month behind, but we're doing a couple of 2-hitters.
Yes.
We've got Heathers next week. We got Pump Up the Volume the following week.
Yeah.
And we got because we're talking about 2 Christian Slater movies, we're just like, well, fuck it. Let's do Chinatown and the 2 Jakes, 2 Jack
Yes.
Nicholson movies. That should be good. That should be good fun.
Good fun indeed.
Good fun. But in the coming, with the next episode of Film Seizure, you're going to hear something different. In June on Monster Mondays, there's going to be something a little bit different. Jason, would you like to talk a little bit about what's going on with Film Seizure?
Like where they can find us.
Well, no.
Oh.
The announcement.
Oh, yeah, we have a theme song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to start having an actual real theme song.
Yeah.
Chuck, Jason, you guys know this person. I don't know this person, but you guys know this person who is.
Yeah, this is my friend Matt LaBarbera. I grew up with him in New York. Jason's friend, obviously, too. But
Yeah.
I've known Matty for a long time. He's always been an awesome musician. He's a cool guy. We approached him last week or a couple weeks ago. And
Yeah. Our buddy Matty made an album of original music. which was a big labor of love for him, and he put it out there in the world, and he's been sharing it with friends and family and anyone who might listen, and we really like it. And we thought, if we were looking for a theme song, why not use that opportunity to help promote someone that is, a creative that we can maybe give them a fraction more exposure.
Well, heck, he might be able to promote us more. Than
Right,
we can
exactly,
promote
which
him
would
if
be
he-
great. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But still, I mean,
but still,
It's a cool relationship.
Yeah.
The-
symbiotic.
I
Yeah.
just
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I kind of just felt like we should try to find someone's music that we want to promote and we have a connection to.
Yeah.
To use as our theme.
It sounds really cool. I think everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, I wanted something that sounded like a for real show. Like if we were on TV or if we were on the radio, like there's a nice discussion feel to it. And that's what I was looking for. And we found that, and that starts with next week's episode.
Yay.
In June, there will be something kind of new to the Monster Monday stuff. I decided, you know what? My voice is fine. And by fine, I mean fine.
You got a
you
fine
fine.
voice.
You fine.
You got a body father of a voice.
Yeah, I sure do, man. I have lots of baby daughters and baby sons out there with my voice.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted a little bit more ambiance to that. So you're going to hear some little background ambiance.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
Yeah,
I want to hear it.
We're going to make it sound like you're outdoors. I've always had that kind of that drive-in look to like what images I used on the website and everything. I thought, well, why not share that outdoor experience?
Any like crickets and spooky wolf sounds?
I've got all sorts of different stuff.
I
Some rain,
love spooky wolves.
some rain, some just outdoor
Crackling
ambiance,
fires.
crackling fires, stuff like that.
Cool. All right.
I downloaded a lot.
I like it.
So that's going to be added. So doing a little revamping, a little bit of spring cleaning around here.
A little bit of production value.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Why not? So, and it doesn't add too much to our practically as you can tell, non-edited episode. But anyway, so
There's got to be like 30 minutes in here we can take out.
Easily. I want a cut. I want a cut of
There's a
this
cut
episode.
of this episode out there
That makes
somewhere
it better.
That might not be
It-
good.
It might not be good, but it's better.
But meanwhile, Kevin Costner
Yes.
added another hour and 15 minutes.
God damn
to
it, we
this
can't keep up. He just keeps giving us footage.
Yeah.
And we have to keep watching it, and we have to keep talking about it. And
Yeah.
it's like, God damn it, when will this film ever be done?
It's never going to end.
It's never gonna end.
An episode will never
But
end.
we do get a free Ford Lincoln Mercury dealership out of it.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, Jason, where can they find us? You wanted to go there.
Filmseizure.com is where you can see and hear everything we have out there in the world. You can also get links to your favorite social media and your favorite audio platform of choice.
Yep. What's on Wednesdays?
Wednesdays is a new episode of Film Seizure.
What's on Mondays?
Mondays is it's not sure with that M. Ends with a stir. Monster Mondays.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. And then Saturday, I've got some essay work out there with the 00 Saturdays.
Indeed. And then Fridays, of course, check out Jeff's little, crazy, kooky side personality over at B Movie Anima.
It's not really my side person. I've started them.
Oh,
if
have you started to merge?
Have you noticed that lately
Is
things
this going to
have
be
melded?
like a Sutter Kane situation?
It's kind of. I mean, things are starting to meld. I was railing on Dirty Wops a couple of weeks ago.
You were.
Yeah, so
You
things
were.
are starting to meld. Like
Oh,
it
man.
is starting to really take
We're
over.
in trouble. We're in trouble.
Yeah. I'm going to start talking about titties.
Well, look out for that.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good. Chuck,
Hi.
would you recommend The Postman? I'm not going to ask this motherfucker.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I'll bring it back to a conversation we had before. I don't think I would invite somebody over to watch this movie with me.
We did have a fun time watching this movie, though.
I did. It's another group movie,
Sure.
but it's perplexing not in the ways that other group
Right.
movie was.
I don't know if this is a group movie. I think
Well, it worked
I think
for us,
It
the
worked
three
for
of
us
us.
because we knew we were going to talk about it.
Right.
I mean, you view some of these movies through a different lens,
Right.
Sure.
when you know that you're gonna do an episode about it.
I'm not going to sit down and watch this movie again.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna suggest to anyone else, hey, let's watch The Postman and have a 6-pack of beer.
That's what I just said.
Did you just say 6-pack of beer?
No, what? Not the 6-pack of beer, but
Right.
you challenged me when I said I wouldn't invite anyone over to watch it. You said it's not a group movie.
I know.
All
I
right,
agree.
go ahead.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, go ahead.
Holy shit. I'm sorry.
I'm
what else?
joking. I'm joking.
But if you know somebody like, say, my mom, who's a big Kevin Costner fan, hey,
Here we
Mom,
go with your
watch-
parents again. It's always your parents you want to give these movies to.
Well, because I see most movies with.
I had one of my employees today or yesterday ask me for a list of movies they should watch.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, let's start on that
and I was
list.
like, holy shit, how do I even approach this? It's like I'm starting to have flashbacks to the video store when someone would come up to the counter and say, what's a good movie? But I think it's really cool. I told him that. I was like, this is I could do this. And I was like, and I knew that it was going to work and I would be able to find things for him to see when he said he just watched Blade Runner for the first time and it blew him away.
Nice.
Oh.
And I was
okay.
like, all right, cool. We're on the same page. I can
Because, yeah,
give you
you-
lots of stuff.
You've said in the past you'd love to curate
I love it. I love it.
a movie list.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No. It's a hard thing to just start to think about right off the bat without kind of knowing what you should recommend.
You're also putting a part of yourself out there to be judged almost.
Yeah.
When you do these things,
And you
because
also-
you're saying these are the
yeah,
things I like. No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
These are the things I like, and if you don't like them,
Fuck
what
off.
does that? Well, what does that mean about me? Because
Well,
I'm giving
sure.
you something that's
Sure, if somebody
kinda
comes up
close
to
to
me
my
and
heart,
says,
right?
Yeah.
if somebody comes up to me and says, Tom Petty's music sucks, I'm going to punch him in the face. And
Right.
I'm
You're not
like,
gonna
what are
give
you
it-
saying about me?
you're not going to give them recommendations on music either if they don't like Tom Petty, probably.
Well,
You're
no,
gonna
but
give
if
them
they
a
say that,
recommendation to fuck off.
yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Here's
the
your
fuck
list.
off. Yeah, right. Here's your list.
Yeah.
I got number 1 and number 2.
So
There
it
is.
helps when you have someone who has an entry point that you
Right.
that hits your spot.
It hits my sensibility for sure.
Yeah.
But then the other challenge is, well, how do I approach it? Right? Because I don't want to be the fire hose.
Yeah.
Right? I want to give them something that's palatable.
Sure.
And something to work around. I don't want to go straight to like Tarkovsky or some shit, So I think
wouldn't even want
So
that
I know
list.
you wouldn't. So I think about how I consumed cinema and the approach that I took, and I think, well, is that the right way? Should I? So anyway, it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
At
that's
the end of the
fun.
day, it's fun.
I'm-
It's fun to think about.
Yeah, I want to know more how that gets received.
Oh yeah,
when you
we'll
that.
do.
Film
right.
Seizure should make some of those lists.
We should
for people.
Well, we could.
Curated list would be fun.
Yeah. I know what I'm picking.
Yeah.
Your
I'll
nose.
tell you what. Yeah, and my
Your
butt.
butt.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
And then which and but not my friends. Get the fuck out. No,
you don't get to pick those.
yeah, no, no. Yeah, I'm gonna pick for you which Bond movies I think you should watch.
Oh,
anyway,
cool.
so that said, until next time, Heathers. We're gonna watch that with
Yeah.
our new theme song.
Yes.
Yeah.
So listen in on that. Yeah. So until then, I'm Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Chuck Moore.
I'm Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.